Okay. Thank you very much, Opula, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So yeah, I mean, you're someone that I'm like very interested in, like ever since I came to my first cosplay event or Comic Con. Yeah. So yeah, you had coming like it was like. So yeah, like how did that start? How did cosplaying start? Like what was it?
For me, it started as a way of fitting in with friends, right? And that was way back. I used to live in Bahrain.
Okay.
And this was in 2013 when I...
So you are Middle East child who came here?
No, I'm a Sri Lankan baby that was taken there and then
born and bred there or born and bred?
Born and bred here.
Ah, okay.
Bred,
yeah,
sort of.
Okay. And it's interesting because I was born there. I was born in Saudi.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, bred there and then came halfway.
Yeah, you notice like people have different mindsets and you can really catch.
That's why I think like I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I started my first cosplay con there, and I really didn't know what I was getting into.
Okay.
Like, oh my god, costumes, friends. I mean, I just really wanted to, fit in with that group.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, I'm lonely and I need friends. That's how I got started, and I started with the basic cost, right, with just the dress and the veil and the bug eye.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't basic, I would say.
It was
like,
so basic. Compared
to the stuff that later on. But then, like, even at that day, so, like, I think, was that the first event or was there one before that?
In Bahrain?
No, in Comic Con, where we were Corpse Bride.
So, Corpse Bride was the official con, but then there was another previous cosplay competition that was held alongside a marketing event.
Okay.
So,
this is Sri Lanka, right?
Sri Lanka.
Okay.
Not Corpse Bride, the first version.
Okay.
That was 2013. And,
okay.
And then I came to Sri Lanka in 2015.
So you started it there?
Yeah.
Okay. So there was like a Comic Con thing over there?
Yeah. It was huge. It was not done by local companies at first. I think it was done by like IGN International Gaming Network.
Damn.
I know.
Okay.
So it was like I didn't even know about that stuff. I just wanted to like go to this thing with my friends and complete noob pretending to know everything. I know what this stuff is.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
And they're like, let's go take some pictures with cosplayers. I was like, sure, let's do that. What are you talking about?
Okay. That's how everyone gets
Yeah.
Like, Yeah, but then now you're like a dedicated, hardcore cosplayer.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to be when it's so much rewarding. When it's so rewarding and there's so much, it's a really good community. It's hard not to, like, go into it.
Community is always nice. Like, I mean, I'm sure that's how, like, most people, we all are looking for, like, somewhere to, like, belong.
Yes.
And then it's,
now.
Especially now.
Because, like, the sense of community is lost because social media replaced that. And so we're all looking for interest groups to, like, fit into.
I mean, yeah, it's, okay, I wouldn't, like, bitch about or vent about social media.
No, it's not a bad thing.
It's just that it's not a replacement. Rather, it's just an augmentation, I would say.
Yeah, but it's like a distraction. So you have no time to actually socialize with people. Anyways, because you're so busy and you kind of like get that socialized.
True. So then Corpse Bride 2013. Yeah. And then like, so that was just basic. Like, was it the same thing that you didn't know?
No.
Much
basic. The costume didn't fit me properly because my body was still, going through puberty and all that. And
how old were you then?
So 2013. That was 6 years ago, and I'm 20 now. So 6 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was like 14.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then and then so you got first cost, right? And then after that, what happened? Like, how did it evolve?
So after that, I was like...
No, because I'm trying to understand your origin story.
Yeah.
Right? You're like, because I mean, like, we all have this, and now you are like, because I don't know how everyone knows, like most people know this or not, because you in the cosplay community in Sri Lanka, like renowned as like one of the best, right? I mean, come on, I mean, yes. But then like you are, right? So that's why I need to understand like the origin story, because everyone's like, most people have that feel like there is this gatekeeping that's happening, yeah. and so most people are very they don't want to get into it, right? But when they do, they really love it, right?
Yeah.
So by this conversation, just trying to like get
people
to more, coming to get more comfortable and just coming and just like fun.
I think it all comes from a place of fear because they don't know what it is. Right?
For sure.
And that's what even like I try to do now with even my podcast.
Okay.
And even with like opening it up to like people who are in Halloween makeup and Halloween parties. I'm like, yeah, I do Halloween makeup. You wanna try it? And then I get them into what you know about cosplay, and slowly get them into.
Okay. So then from there onwards, like it's on Instagram. We have pictures of you on Instagram. Because I'd love to like put in like some pictures of like before after. No?
Yes, I do. I actually put that picture, and people were like, "Oh my god, the transformation!" I was like, "Yeah, it was very like it's very apparent. You can see like a very clear distinction. I didn't put any makeup. I didn't own any makeup back then. It was just paint. My mother's she didn't even use. She gets like presents.
Paint as in what paint?
Huh?
What paint?
Just fabric and acrylic paint on my eyes, on my eyelashes. And then my mom had this old eyeshadow palette that was given to her as a gift from one of her friends. I didn't know her very well because she doesn't wear makeup. And so I used eyeshadow as lipstick. And that's how I started. I didn't even have proper makeup back then.
And then like, so Corpse Bride was like you were doing it until you perfected it, or was it like... Because the first time I saw you were... actually like 2016, I think?
16, yeah.
And then it was you were Corpse Bride.
Yeah, a version of Corpse Bride. I did a very gory version with actual wounds, sort of prosthetic-wise, and not a very cartoonist. I wanted it to be more real and gory. Because I wanted to go play with that prosthetic-ness of it. So I didn't plan on evolving it. The final time that I did do Corpse Bride, which was in 2017, it was because I was supposed to do the Night Queen on that day and group cosplay with the Night King. And I had this whole plan, but then one of my friends, I had brought the latex bottle to the con on the first day and had given it to a friend. And she had taken it home, so the next day when I was looking for the latex bottle, I couldn't find it, and I was like, oh no, I can't, I don't have my stuff, I can't do the Night Queen. So I was like, okay, I thought of the Corpse Bride, and I was really super depressed because I couldn't get that cosplay stuff, and so I put on the Corpse Bride thing, and I went full out with the body paint, and I came to the con very late because I was panicking and looking for the latex bottle everywhere. And that was the actual Corpse Bride that I'm known for.
How does the process work? Like, is it like? I mean, it takes a lot of like I don't know, what do you call it? Stitching, dressmaking. I mean, how, like, you learned everything? Do you like hire someone to do it?
No. So dressmaking, it comes from my family. My mom, she owns a garment, and she's a very skilled tailor. And so she's the one who made the basic dress, but it had to go through a lot of singeing, a lot of editing to get to what it is now, because...
You mean like dress writing? You mean like changing the...
Yeah, everything, because it didn't have a slit at first, because that was too scandalous for a 14-year-old Sri Lankan girl. Even the veil, it was too heavy, and I had to do a lot with it. It starts, so my mom made a dress, which I then, all the corners are withered. So I put them in blue and grey paint, and then I created that gradient, the bluish gradient, and I tore it in certain places. Even this part, she has a hole in the dress, and it wasn't there before. I tore that, and I cinched my waist because I finally got a waist. And even the breast area, I had to cinch that, and the veil, I had to cut down a lot of it because it was dragging all the way to the floor, and that wasn't how it was. And all those edits happened.
Stop. Press again. It's fine. Go.
So then I got the crown for her, little details. The crown and everything was properly done in Sri Lanka. In 2016, I went shopping.
The crown? Oh yeah, I remember that crown.
Yeah, the crown and the bouquet. Those were bought in Arpico. And I had to undo and redo all those things, and little details were added, and that's how that cosplay came to be. And yeah.
So how usually like how long is that process like from ideation to like getting execution?
Okay, for a normal cosplay, it's like, for me, I plan longer than the time that I actually need to do the cosplay, because I'm quite lazy. Of a person, I'm very busy.
Okay.
So, like, say, a recent cosplay that I did was Sony Sedge, Love, Death and Robots. I was planning it ever since I got to first watch it. I think it was the beginning of this year. And then I made that cosplay happen within the span of 2 days.
Oh.
Yeah, it depends on how complex the cosplay is. The Demogorgon, I was planning it again for 6 months, and then I got it done within the span of 3 months.
Yeah, I mean, how do you like that? That was insane. Like, I honestly didn't know it was you first. I didn't know, and I was like super impressed on like. I mean, that's like, how do you do it? What's that built on? Like, so this is the Demogorgon from Stranger Things.
Yeah, Stranger Things.
So Stranger Things, yeah. And then how does it like even like what are the elements that are used to build something like that? Like,
so I did a lot of research for that. I had to look over every. I actually watched every tutorial that there was to do a Demogorgon cosplay.
Okay.
And I took elements from each one.
Thank God for YouTube.
Yeah, thank God for YouTube. But then I had to customize it, certainly, because most of it, materials that they show are not available in Sri Lanka. And if they are, the very different versions of it are available, and not the best versions. So it was first the idea came to me through Oshita and Thai. And Oshita was going to do 11, and he wanted me to do Demogorgon. So I wanted to do a Demogorgon, and I told him about it, and the group came to be, and it was Thai who initially asked me, so I want to do something crazy, I want to shoot something crazy. Can I help you with the cosplay? And he actually helped me sponsor that cosplay. And it was so sweet. And I was supposed to go for a shoot with him, but then I ended up finishing that cosplay the night before the con.
Oh my God!
I know.
But then, like, he does like photography for
cosplay photography, and he does professional photography first, and then cosplay photography. And even with cosplay, he does certain types of he can do a lot with lights and filters. So,
like, what do you mean?
Do you remember the half? Mystique half walking the White Walker thing I did on Michelle. So that was taken very professionally and really well, because he used different types of lighting, and he played around with, and that was really, I think that's where he excels. And so anytime I need to do a cosplay and something that he can shoot in that setting, I go for it. So Demogorgon was something that was supposed to be in that frame, but then I ended up finishing it in the night before the concert. And it wasn't even completely finished, because I first focused on the headpiece.
Yeah.
I got the base with EVA form, like the petal shapes.
Yeah.
And not the base, just petal shapes. And then I cut them up into little pieces.
Okay.
I got wire and masking tape. And then I first fixed the base layer, and then fixed the little pieces of EVA around it.
Oh my God.
Got latex and flour, mixed it together with a little bit of red food coloring.
Okay.
And then used that as the flesh. So I covered that entire petal with that thingy, and then and before it dried, I had to so the teeth part, that was the most interesting, I think. I don't think people think that's the most interesting part, right? So how I made that was I piped hot glue onto a table with a plastic sheet on it, and it dried flat into a bend of sort, and I had to cut it into little triangles.
Ah, damn! It takes a lot of creativity, right?
Yeah,
so just like,
because the tutorial I watched, they used polymer, there's this thing that's called polymorph.
Okay.
And it's this plastic that you put in hot water and it becomes malleable, and then they made a sheet with it and then cut it. So I needed that sheet, right? So
You just use hot glue.
Hot glue.
Oh my god, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, but like it came out really nice too. Like, and did you end up like getting a shoot?
I did a mini shoot with him during the con, but that's I wanted to do again later, but then the head. Well, so I finished it the night before. It didn't really have a lot of time to completely dry. It dried. I didn't put it on a mannequin head, and it shrunk.
Oh.
And so it fits like the head of a baby, but not me. I have a small head to be.
Yeah, that's fine. And then do you have like a time lapse of the creation, no?
Unfortunately, it's a very I wanted to do one. I always want to do one when I do a cosplay, but it's so difficult.
Yeah.
Because I sometimes work on my bed, certain things. I'm like dead. I work on in the kitchen, certain things outside my house. And the head actually weighed 6 kg, 5 to 6 kg, and it gave me like a heavy neck thing.
Like exercises.
Yeah.
Focus neck exercises. No, and you now. So I heard, I saw some like you guys do like a depository of cosplays, like where you all these old cosplays that you have, you rent it out or something like that. Tell me about it. I mean, what happens to all these things?
They are in a cupboard. For me, I keep them in a cupboard, and I reuse some parts for certain other cosplays.
Okay.
But some of my costumes, I've been asked by people if I want to rent them.
Okay.
But honestly, I don't, because the reasons they want for them to rent it, it's either for like a Halloween party the cosplay, it's not something that I want to devalue in that kind of manner, because it has a lot of history. And if something happens, if they get drunk and puke on it, at the end of the day, what can I do?
So would you sell them? Sell it to them?
I don't think I can, because they're specifically made for me. And even though it looks like, okay, I can wear it, when you actually try to put it on, it's kind of, you can't. This is the thing, most cosplay stuff are like sometimes hot glued onto me on the day of the thing, or like stitched on myself, so how can I sell something like that? Is what I mean. It looks good in the picture, but then you do these kind of things for other people, like for like if they want makeup done, or if they want advice or help making something, or something made for them, I do that.
And you charge them, or
of course I charge them, but not advice.
Oh, okay. So yeah, obviously advice is free. That's how you bring people in. Tell them like all these like random things.
No, that's how they bring me in.
Oh, what?
And get shit done for free. And I'm like...
Yeah, but you have to use that to your advantage. Like, make it like sound like, use some like jargon. And then they'll be like, oh, and they don't know how to do it. And then you'll be like, yeah, I can do it for you. And I'll charge you this much. Yeah. I'm a sales guy, so
I should try that. But then it's like, so I'm like, okay, I literally gave this step by step. And like, can I come to your house and you can tell me, just show me how to do it? And I was like... fine. And then they come over and I'm like, and they're like, so, and they're doing it all wrong, right? And I'm like, I can't stand and watch them.
And you're not getting paid for this?
No. So far, no. I mean, it's their materials and them everything, and then it's like, you know what? This is not how you do it. And then I show them, and they're like, oh, okay, you do it.
And they get it for free. So yeah, okay. This video is meant to see that the amount of pain that it goes into doing this.
Yeah.
And then hopefully no one else does that. Everyone pays for it.
I mean, I haven't done that. The thing is, after giving certain types of advice, I stopped.
Okay.
Because I'm like, I can't help you further, man. I'm sorry. If you can't understand what I'm saying, I refer them to videos that they can look up online. They're like, no, but it's not clear. I'm like, too bad.
I saw like you had like posted like a Facebook post that's like proper vent.
Yeah, my god. Halloween is a time that I get like agitated, like to my extreme. People are like, oh, but I want this, not that. I'm like, too bad I don't do that.
But you could actually like make it like a business deal, right?
I do for Halloween. People come to me, they're like, so I want this look done. I'm like, okay, let's do that. They come to my place and they want something. I've had customers, but there are some who are really nice. I've done a lot of Halloween is my time. I get clients almost every day for like 2 months, even December sometimes. So universities have Halloween parties in December.
Ah.
It's strange.
Sri Lankan Halloween. Yakada was something like the Sri Lankan version of Halloween. So what's that? Do you get asked like what do you call? What's that white lady thing? Mohini. Do you get like asked Mohini cosplay? I mean, I don't know.
There has been so this one lady, she wanted to do a Mohini cosplay.
Okay.
Not cosplay, I mean for Halloween, and I was like, okay, but then I convinced her to do something completely different.
Okay.
And she loved it more because it's not basic and why is something to do at home? You don't need me, you know.
Make it like really awesome.
Because like it's not a defined character, you can go anywhere with it. So yeah, she ended up going for this scary eye look, and it was this doll who had lost her eyes sort of thing, and it was really creepy. So I loved it.
Dude, like the facial stuff that you do, like seriously, they're like Hollywood level stuff. I mean, you just like you can take pictures, videos, and stuff like that. Is it expensive to do something like that?
Because the Demogorgon, Ty helped me with it for he like spent like he gave me like 15K for it, 15K. And then for me, from my hand, I had to put in another 10K. So it was 25. And even after that, I had more materials because there was more parts to build, but I didn't have time to do that.
But then yeah, at the end of the day, I think it's worth it because you get like awesome reactions, right? You know?
Yeah, awesome reactions, and I got a great picture of sorts in the end, and I was like super happy.
Do you get like some like I don't know? Does it move on to something like corporate or I don't know? It's not like I know cosplays are very like close to heart, but then you know people have to make money also. They have to eat. So like, do you make it into? Do you take it corporate? Do people come and like ask you? Okay, do you?
Yes. They have done that, and I've tried. Okay, so try to make cosplay a way I can earn money, but I ended up hating that.
Okay.
Because the way they treat you when they pay you money is it's like they own you. In Sri Lanka, there's no mutual respect. Even if you're like the boss, you're not supposed to treat your employee like shit. As in, so it's not just me. It was like a bunch of cosplayers who was approached by these movie cinema companies, you know, in Sri Lanka. I'm not going to pinpoint who, but they asked us, okay, we're going to have this movie coming on and we want you guys to do these type of characters.
Oh, wow.
I was like, okay, and then they were willing to pay us as well, and I was like, okay. Payment-wise, it was like 5 or 3K, I don't remember. But it wasn't much, yeah, and the requirements was not much. And so I did a cosplay for that. It was Harvey Dent case.
Oh, okay.
And it was so simple. I got that done in a day, and it was really fun.
It was hard. No, it was very hard. It is because if you say it's simple, they'll like undervalue it. Like, oh no, you know what?
No, I didn't tell them. Like,
but you know, this is gonna go cosplay.
Yeah, no.
It was very hard.
No.
It was daunting work.
So I mean, it definitely cost more than what I got paid for. Because I can't stop like, okay, this is all I got paid for, so this is my work. Because it's my work, it's gonna go out into the world. I have to like.
That's look.
Yeah. So I kept like adding context to it, extensions to it, and you know it became this whole thing. And when we went into the actual venue for the day of the event, it was so crowded. They didn't have any areas specifically for us, so we were just getting smashed between the crowds, and people were just, you know, there was no respect. There was no anything. And then they even told us that they gave us free seats, and then we got seats right in the front, and I'm like listening for our time, so it was very.
But they liked the work, obviously.
Obviously, yeah. They liked the work, but it wasn't worth the time. And
yeah, I'm sure. I think still it's like, I think you guys are the like pioneers of it. Slowly and surely, I'm sure it will be.
It has to come to a place where people can respect it enough, and I don't think even for Sri Lankan like minimum wage, it's not enough for a freaking person. So you can't expect like crazy stuff.
Well, hopefully, let's see. I'm always like a bit hopeful and optimistic. So yeah.
One day.
So like other thing that you do there was this thing like people were like going crazy about. Remember that ad that you did for the UN the bus thing?
It was not an ad.
Isn't it that? Okay.
So
it was like a campaign.
Campaign.
Okay.
Campaign would be a right word for it.
Okay.
And so
tell me about that. I was like,
yeah.
Because you got like a lot of hate for it.
And then it was like
no. Before we go there, do you get hate for the cosplay?
Personally, I have not.
Okay.
I have people are afraid of my cosplay, so they don't make fun of them.
I mean, okay, yeah. Okay.
And another thing is that the reason why some cosplays do get made fun of is because the pictures of the cosplays are not decent.
Yeah.
So the photographers who take the pictures. This is something I learned from Anushka, by the way. He's a photographer as well, and he told me that the only reason Amaya, the Wonder Woman cosplayer, she got that hate is because the photographer really chose to upload that really bad picture of her cosplay, even though her cosplay was good. It was a really bad angle.
I mean, like, the pose was weird. Yeah, I mean,
So, like, when I see, when I see, like, not great pictures of me, I'll, like, take that down, I'm sorry. That doesn't do any justice to my art, so it's...
Yeah, I mean, obviously. Yeah, there was, like, a whole countrywide, nationwide thing, like...
It's because people didn't, like, understand it much then, but then it ended up with Gal Gadot and... like the director or something.
That was crazy, yeah. I mean, that was a proud moment for most of the cosplayers. And like, I remember, like, everyone was like, "Wow!" But yeah, I think it's cool. I think So on that line, like outrage line. So I don't know much about camping, but I met people who were involved in it. So I want to talk about it. If you don't mind.
Yeah, I don't mind.
So, what was the campaign about? Why were the people going crazy about it? Then,
So, from a very young age, I love activism, especially for things I believe in. Only for things I believe in. Sure. And obviously, sexual harassment on buses for females, it's a lot more. I mean, males do get a lot of stuff as well, a lot of shit as well on buses, but females are more prone to that. And I personally experienced that when I came to Sri Lanka, obviously, and as a schoolgirl, I started using the bus. I started using the bus when I was in like A-levels in 2016, and that's when I got like, okay, they were like old creepy men, and so I went through certain experiences, and it wasn't just buses, even tooks and catcalling or whatever it is, it's a different culture in Sri Lanka where the misogynistic, culture is still very much present here. So, what when a friend of mine approached me and told me that certain thing was happening, a campaign was happening for women who have been harassed in buses, and she asked me if I've ever experienced that. I was like, of course I have. Who has not, right? And she was like, okay, I'll forward your email to this campaign thing the photographer's doing. Her name is Lisa, and she owns this brand. It's called Cheer Up Love, and she sent me the links, and I looked it up, right? And it was this worldwide movement, Cheer Up Love, where she takes photos of women who have been harassed in different, versions from different places, and she puts their story and a picture of them on the website, and it's just like a portfolio of stories. And in Sri Lanka, she was going to come here and do a movement in public transport, in trains and buses, and stories like that. I was like, okay, I would love to, be a part of this movement. And we didn't know that UNFPA was going to be involved.
Okay.
So when everything was arranged, it was Roar Media that came to me, and it was Cheer Up Love that spoke to me.
Okay.
And they've been corresponding with me and talking about. First, I had to send them my story, and then they were like, "Okay, let's shoot it where it happened." And we went to the Peta bus stand, and we. Got they took my story again, talking to them, and again in front of like several times, over and over again. It was happening in the sun, and we were doing it, and they had given me a consent form, and I don't remember UNFPA involved in it in a great, like a big thing, you know. I thought it was like just funding for this base project and stuff like that. So we didn't really know the scope of it when we got into it. All of us.
Okay.
And we thought our stories were just going to be on the website, and that was going to be the end of it. And she mentioned she's going to put it on Instagram. I was like, okay, sure. And so then UNFPA got involved after the media content was to be created, and when our stories were going to go up online, at the same time the ministry coup happened. So they even mentioned that there was this physical workshop happening in Sri Lanka, but
sorry, ministry coup? There's in the
coup happened.
Oh, okay.
You know, the whole politic thing that happened last December, November.
Yeah.
So this physical workshop was supposed to happen alongside the social media campaign.
Okay.
But they couldn't because of this, you know, whole tragedy. And the physical campaign happened a lot later in March.
Okay.
So there was a disconnect there itself. So people thought, okay, so why are you just campaigning? You know, that was the first thing. And then when I got my story, they sent it to me and they asked for my approval. I was like, okay, fine, that looks fine. And then, but the way they retold the story was very provocative. You know, in a much, I would say, eye-catching way. I mean, that's the whole point for campaign, but not to that extent. You know, like, take the most aggravating thing I said, double it, and then put it up as like the title. That is not fair. And they did get a lot of shit for that.
For sure.
Yeah, you know, and not just, and some women even took their stories out of the campaign.
I didn't know.
Yeah, so they did that, and they didn't want to even be part of the physical campaign that was happening. And this was all happening not because of the UNFPA in Sri Lanka, but the head office.
Okay.
And they had not been corresponding with the Sri Lankan office to properly get, okay, is this okay for Sri Lankan audience?
Wow.
And so they were catering to a different international audience, but we got hate from the Sri Lankan audience, who was not used to this kind of, you know, provocative marketing.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of shitty from their side.
Yeah, so they kind of screwed up and they apologized and they, you know, they did.
Yeah, but you guys got the hate. You guys with the
Yeah, they immediately took it down, some people, but I said it's fine, leave mine, because, you know, it was a campaign in the end and I didn't want that person going to waste. And I think it's just, the Sri Lankan public, when you come out with something like, okay, this happens, they were first like, it was mostly men. They were saying, oh, I was wearing, you know, it was an international thing, so I was like, I'm not going to be wearing jeans and t-shirt. I want to look, you know, formal, so I wore a shirt. I wore my normal makeup. I didn't know it was going to be that bright in the sun, so. And then when it did go into Sri Lankan public, they were like, oh, you got harassed because you looked like that. But in reality, I was wearing my school uniform when it happened. Or, I don't know.
like clothes deserve.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I know. I was like, you should take a look in the mirror. Maybe it's because your
yeah,
makeup.
but
I was
shirt,
like, yeah, I know. I was like, okay. And then they were like criticizing my body, how skinny I was, who would want to fuck you, who would want to touch you. It was so like, the comments in my video actually re-traumatized me, and even to a worse extent. I was crying, dude. I was like, crying. Everyone's like, I didn't try to defend myself at all, but then people came to my, you know, try to defend me, and I was like, there's no use defending me because these people are not willing to understand.
It's a very weird thing, like this whole how people react, the hate speech. Like, I don't understand how it's done. Like, as a guy, I mean, I can't say like I've experienced it, but I've been in skirmishes where like I've seen.
You've definitely experienced it. Like,
I mean,
not in a like feminist point of view, but from like even an opinion you post online.
No. What I mean is like on public transport, right? I mean, yeah. What I mean is that I've seen it happen, and I've been in like involved. So in, like I've seen it, and I just like, you know, try to push away, and then start to see it, and like once like wanting to fight and stuff like that. But no, what I meant to say was like I'm trying to understand from where, how does that happen? Like, what's the mindset to be able to do something like that? One. Also, mindset that, like the harassed is like going through. Because something that I've always heard with regards to this is, some people think like they like it. Because you look at like pornography, right? Most of these sites, right?
Yeah, it's like
busting is like a thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my god.
Yeah. So then they see this and they're like, oh, it's normal. Okay, yeah, we can do this. And then like, or if the person who's like being inflicted this is not doing anything, then that means they like it.
Yeah,
that's the mentality.
In our head,
because
like,
these actresses, on the sites, these actresses,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
They are behaving a certain way. They're behaving a certain way for money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's up to that. I'm not going to judge that. I don't want. That's a different topic.
Yeah.
But so most of the time, it's like in the guy mindset, it's like, okay, why don't you move, or why don't you like say something?
Yeah.
But then, how does that? I don't know. I'm not trying to make you the spokesperson or whatever. But it's just something that.
When it happened to me, I was frozen. I mean, I was trying to understand what was happening. So everything was moving in a slow kind of manner, and I was trying to figure out ways of why is it happening, why me, and why now? How can I get away? And all of this was happening at the same time, and I was like frozen in place, and it wasn't something like, oh no, she got raped or molested in a crazy way. It was just this creepy old guy who was just being too touchy-feely. He was like sleeping on this part of the seat, and then he was just putting his head on my shoulder, and at one point he touched my thigh, just like he pretended he was sleeping like that, and then he wasn't sleeping because he had seen what I was doing on my phone, and I was calling my mom and texting my friends, and was like, oh, I know where he and it wasn't that this big thing, because like there were worse stories out there. And for me, I was just like, I need to get out of the situation. And then when I got up and I ran away, I immediately, as soon as I could, when the bus stopped, I just got up and ran. And that's what happened to me. But then, if the bus was still moving, and imagine it was a highway bus, I would have still what would I do? Kind of. It might have gotten worse. But, yeah.
I heard that there's like a hotline, 1936 or something.
1929.
1929. Oh, okay.
That you can dial in case of any. Even this involves children and women, and it goes, and you can get help.
So I've heard that So I was very curious to understand how people have mindsets to do such things. I heard that it's childhood trauma, or maybe they've gone through the same shit, or maybe it's just a power trip.
I mean, it is a power trip, and it's more like sexuality is built in everyone. We don't know what is the right thing and the wrong thing. It's just humans telling each other. There's no intergalactic law, anything saying this is that or that's that. I mean, there's international law now, there's humanitarian law, there's human rights, those are there, but these people don't understand that. And even me, I am into really messed up things in terms of fantasy. So in reality, that's not going to cut it in real life. You can't do something to a real person, so it's like, overall, what's missing is a lack in empathy. People cannot understand or are not willing to put themselves in the shoes of some other person. So they think they have enough problems to deal with, so why do I need to take on their problems? I'm just going to be selfish and think about me. So I need this at this moment, I'm going to take it. And I think that's what's going through those people's minds.
So I try to do videos, make videos about things like this. Now, I'm doing these video podcasts is because I'm not comfortable with setting the narrative, especially in situations like this, which I want to make videos on. I wouldn't know how it is. So I'm just thinking, I do research or whatever, but still it's not something that you can actually explain.
You have to experience
it, exactly. So And I came to the same conclusion as you, like empathy is where it is. And when I saw that campaign, like my first glance, I didn't even play the video. Before playing the video, my first glance was, oh, you know what? It's actually cool that they're making videos about it. Because I've always wanted to do it, but I never could. Right? So this is my way of like doing it. But anyways, so when I saw those videos, I was like, you know what? It'd be nice to like showcase how it is in their shoes, like people who have been harassed. The stories there, like people who are being like an ex-harasser. What did he go through his mind? And actually give like a picture where people do understand like what it is, how it stems.
Yeah.
But rather they were going to like this clickbait, outrage mentality.
And then it seemed more like, I don't know, it's like the victim card was overplayed and I didn't like it. I didn't like being
They just painted the brush like, like just like blatantly just like painted, all women are victims, all guys are harassers or whatever, and that didn't fly with some people. I don't know.
I understand, yeah.
Because for example, like one example is like, do you watch Kumbio?
No.
Okay. So first episode of Kumbio was that just like it just clicked. So it was something that I was watching. It was like, okay. So first episode of Kumbio was this guy in the bus, and he's acting like he's like a foreign national, Sri Lankan guy acting like a foreign national. And he's speaking to a girl, and he says like, I'm from a foreign national, and then I'm trying to find my way or whatever, and then can I have your number? And then like he does it very nicely, and then he gets the number, right? And then he actually, after that, he admits like, like it's crazy like how people would give you this number if it's like this case, but if I was like a Sri Lankan, they won't give me, like, because people think like the main way to, guys think that the best way to find the women are like, giving numbers on the bus, right? So and they normalize this, they put this in this, and then, but no one talks about both perspectives. I really wanted that campaign to be that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's an opportunity where you can come in and do a campaign with the harasser too, because I think it's very important for the harasser to like voice out his opinion, and even though, I mean, because I don't know if everyone would agree with me, I'm pretty sure everyone is not going to agree with me. I think everyone needs to be forgiven. Murderers need to be forgiven. Rapists need to be forgiven at some point and reintegrated into society. Even I know it's going to be very difficult, and the easier way is to just kill them off. But they can be forgiven, they can be fixed and healed, more rather, and then reintegrated into society. And it's very important to understand not just what the victim is going through, but what might the harasser would be going through, and where did that come from? Is it because he was harassed? Is it because maybe he has a terrible situation at home with his wife? Why is he doing that? And to try and prevent that from happening in the future. Like, make sure your son isn't going through the same situation. And I know, like, in my family, even, like, I know that I have certain relatives who have been suppressed sexually, as in, they might be homophobic themselves, and they might, they might actually, they're like in denial of their own sexuality, and that kind of leads to even further, destroying more lives, and destroying yourself, and then it's this whole like ball game. It's just sad, and if we could just sit down and talk to that person, we could understand a lot.
This is not like a very popular opinion, but I think it's this what we experience through, like, especially sexuality, gender and stuff, like, it's very Victorian. These are Victorian cultures that like was brought in, right? I mean, there's this Portuguese. So one of my favorite Instagram accounts is something called Lost Sri Lankan History or something like that. Lost History or something like that. Ceylon History or something like that. Can't remember the one. So they talk about where like this Portuguese sailor lands in Sri Lanka, and he's like, he sees the natural people, the normal natives, and how like homosexuality is very normal, right? And then like wife, like the concept of like marriage and wife and like one monogamy was all very just like was not there, was not present, and like and it's more community by like it's not like one person, like one woman is like everywhere, but it's like it wasn't very down and cut and right, binary, right? I think the binary thing was put in place by the Victorians, the colonizers, right? That's like, but I don't know, like there's so much, like it's just that we don't have works to show our works are destroyed, like our local works are destroyed when they came in.
Like, messed up part. My grandparents thinks homosexuality happens because there's something wrong with his like private parts. I was like, I have like a gay friend, and so he comes over sometimes, and and my grandparents see him, and they're like, "How one nene?" And I was like, "Why do you say that?" It's like something must be wrong down there, right? I was like,
but I think like now we're moving like so for what happened in India, right? So they took away those Victorian laws, and they were like, you know what? Because India has like a lot of transgender there, and, like from a very old civilization there, right? So the colonizers were able to like remove that from society. So they are going back to their own roots. I think there is so much diversity before. And this is just me venting.
It's a lot of culture that has been lost, and I do understand. But here's the thing: I don't know enough about Sri Lankan history because I was not in Sri Lanka, and I had to I'm still learning.
No, I think this is like way back, more than 400 years earlier. Like
but then
talking about.
But then I went to this sort of workshop done by UNICEF recently, and we were talking about transitional justice.
Sorry.
Transitional justice.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a term used when you it's this process that all countries that have gone through conflict or is going through conflict, they give these set of mechanisms that you can go through to fix and repair and heal the country. Say reparations, to the public, or even things like truth seeking, like the OMP we have here, things like that. And through that, I've got to learn like so many things that I didn't know before. Like how when the colonizers came, they started in the north and stuff, and then so they preferred and they colonized the Tamils first, and they converted them into Christians and educated them. And so when independence came along, there were more Tamil people in place of power, and then left the Sinhalese people, and this is like
divide and conquer.
Yeah, so I was like, that's where it came from. But no one talks about that. Everyone talks about, oh no, because this politician came into power, things like that. So it's like I'm still learning, and there's a lot to learn, and why people do certain things is because like there's no one answer.
Absolutely, it's a lot
you can't black and white it.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I think, like I said, I'm optimistic about Sri Lanka. I mean, that's this one. But the media is going crazy now, right? Like how we're seeing how all this like crazy bipartisan. Like we're trying to bring the US media here. We're trying to replicate that here. I've seen media organizations do that, like try to inflict hate, because again, that divide and conquer thing is coming back again. It's coming back. It's like a revival of around the world.
Yeah.
I mean, all of the major countries in the world have this crazy guy leading them. Think about it.
What do you mean?
Biggest economies in the world are all led by crazy people. Trump.
But
Boris.
It didn't used to be like that. Obama wasn't.
Yeah, so but then like Boris, right? And then Trump, and then Brazil, big economy, right? All these guys are like crazy. Europe, most of them, like now Europe is going into the craziness, right? So all these like right-wing guys are coming in. I don't know. But I'm hopeful. Hopefully, let's see what's happening.
It's like, I think the world, it was like we give so much power to money, and now money is trying to like take over the world. And even if we see like now the world is realizing that money is not everything because climate change. Like, and it's because of these companies who've been trying to bury the truth. Like, oh no, coal, it doesn't do anything. Power plants, renewable energy, no, that's not. It's so expensive, and stuff like that. But then you realize the truth, and we're all coming into this like, okay, no, this is not right. Plastic is not the way. And these corporates are not scared, and so they're trying to reinforce, force their way into like economy, and that's what you see happening in Sri Lanka too, with the whole, power plant issue.
We are going to have like crazy climate because I'm from solar. I have a solar background, right? So I sell solar.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I'm pro solar like the whole way. But there are certain limitations to it. I wouldn't say no. Right? There are certain limitations. I mean, the reason Germany can install like crazy amount of solar and most of these countries is because they have nuclear. It's because there's like certain things there. But I understand. I agree to the point where money is like now trumps everything else. Our economy is like GDP is bigger than like people. Like people, GDP is more important than people.
Yeah.
I saw a post today on Reddit just saying it was like a map of the world, and it showed like a multiplier on every country. But basically, the amount of fuel they burn versus the GDP that they are input into the world, like their contribution to world GDP versus how much they burn.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, okay, that doesn't make sense because what does world contributing GDP to the world like even do? Like wealth is concentrated towards certain amount of people only, right? And yes, maybe burning like certain countries are burning more, whatever, like because they don't have the infrastructure to basically have the. So they are like, but I like what New Zealand is doing. They're basically saying screw the GDP. We're going to focus on wellness, mental health.
Yeah.
Like we want our people to be measured based on our success to be measured not on like GDP and how much we are putting into the world and how much our gross domestic product is.
Like, I think Finland and Netherlands.
Yeah. I mean that's so cool.
Yeah.
Like, metric is happiness.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's like the best. Even Finland has the best education system in the world, right? So, I mean, you look at that and then you can understand that they're putting individual healthcare, individual care into a high perspective. And I don't know, it's just. It might seem like I'm just like blabbering about, I'm getting too hyped up about certain things. It's because it matters.
Definitely.
It matters. And then you see countries, recently countries came together to sign plastic reduction thing and consumption thing. And the rich countries, they were supposed to reduce at a faster rate because they are at a place where they can do it. You can't expect third world countries to reach the same level, right? But they're like, no, we can do this, but China's still doing that. They're pointing fingers. It all comes back to like... What
about them?
Yeah, I think that's the whole sort.
Anyways, thank you very much. I think I'm going to wrap this up because it's hitting like 1 hour. Yeah. So, thank you very much for coming.
Yeah.
I think... So I'm trying to make this platform just like real conversation.
Yeah.
Just like conversation. Because a conversation doesn't stick to one topic. It's just we started in cosplays, we're talking about and stuff like that. And that's very cool. Thank you very much for coming.
Of course.
Thank you for this one, and I'm definitely looking forward to like more sessions.
Of course.
Yeah.
Me too.
Thank you, Opula. See you, man. Bye.
Yeah.